All right, so today is November 1st and 2023. This is going to be a day where I believe we're going to actually have a change in the e-bike industry. And I'm really excited about the way that this video is going to be kind of put together. It's a little different. I know this is like a new setup. It's been a crazy week as I've had a chance to actually go to Lectric in Arizona, their home base, with them showing the announcement or the launch of the new XPeak bike. And the reason why I think this is going to change the industry is, first and foremost, the competition is going to have to change their pricing. There's no ifs, ands, or buts if they want to keep up with what Lectric has done with this bike. It's going to be something that's absolutely incredible for all of you who actually are still looking to get a bike or maybe getting a second bike. In fact, anybody who wants a bike. They have now entered the 26-inch fat tire market, and this XPeak is now something that's going to, I believe, make a lot of the 26-inch fat tire industry or the mountain bike industry even look up to say, hey, there's something that they got to do differently. And for those of you who have been following my channel for a while, you know that I love to talk about the economics of what's going on with not only the economy of the US, but also with the e-bike industry. And I think this is where we are actually seeing the COVID wave advantage for all of us that have been looking for perhaps a more affordable bike and cannot afford it. So what's been, as you guys have all been seeing, our gas prices have been going crazy. Here in California, we were as high as $6. In fact, we broke $6. It's starting to come back down, but we are seeing a shift now of people actually starting to look into more of the EV market. And of course, the other half of that is people who are not wanting to get into the EV market but are really upset about the gas prices. And this is not only here in California where I am, it's actually pretty much nationwide. We're also seeing a fluctuation of so many different things that are really hurting us economically. The other thing that I'm also going to talk about in this video is not only, now what you see here on the screens are the XPeak bike fully accessorized. On the top screen here, we have, it's a picture of the bike without any of the accessories on it. Now, you do get the accessories now during the special of a pre-launch. This bike is not going to be actually shipping out till January, but today being November 1st, they are going to actually start taking pre-orders. And at $1,300 for the bike that you get here is absolutely incredible. And for what you get on this is a high performance, I'd say 1,800 minimum for a bike like this, typically that I've seen out there. I got a chance to actually test ride the pre-production models, and you'll see some of the footage here of me and some other of the big YouTube influencers out there in the e-bike niche riding these bikes. Now, me being over 50 years old, I'm pretty much in the higher age demographic than some of these guys that were riding out there. In fact, some of them are almost like professional, literally professional mountain bikers. And they were taking these with jumps and going through the mountainside that Lectric took us through on their tour, kind of a ride of these dirt trails in the backside. And they actually got so far ahead of me because I'm still trying to like figure out how's this bike going to work with me. I want to make sure I don't fall over. They just took off, and my group actually left me behind. And embarrassingly, I was left behind where I got so far behind. I came to a fork in the path and I didn't know where to go. And I was in the mountains, so I didn't want to take a chance that I would get lost. So I actually ended up turning around, making my way back to the starting line when somebody came back to come get me because, like I said, I was concentrating on figuring out this bike. It performs so well, but yet I am not an off-road mountain biker. That's not what I'm out there as a commuter. I'm out there as a temporary, once in a while, I'll take a fire trail here and there on some of these off-road bikes and I enjoy myself. But these guys were flying with this bike. I mean, there's some footage out there. I was not able to get it because I was not near them at the time, but I've seen some of the other guys' footage where they were all taking jumps, and it's incredible. The one thing I did notice about this bike is I purposely took the Lectric Step Through XPeak model because I wanted to test the squirreliness. Sometimes these bikes that actually don't have the step over frame, that mid frame that comes down this part of the bike here, some of these don't actually have those, and they feel like the bike is kind of flexing along the way. And I specifically spoke to Robbie, who's one of the co-founders, about the potential of the flex there. And, he reassured me. He said they actually positioned this to be so strong with this reinforcement that they put on here, plus the fork that they have on here. This is one thing that a lot of people are going to be talking about. This fork is actually so strongly rated, it allowed this bike to be certified as a mountain bike. I didn't know there was even a certification for that, but this is actually, it has been rated as a certified mountain bike because of the fork specifically. It has been rigorously tested. It's an RST brand. I guess it runs almost like $400 on the market. So they put a really high end. The whole bike in itself is now coming off of the Lectric 3.0 type of motor technology that's on there. Now, I'm going to go over all the specs throughout this video. We're going to take a little time to do that. Some also the ride footage that you guys are seeing or will be seeing on this that I took while we were out there, and the close-up shots of all of the specs that's part of this bike. But I wanted to make an announcement about particular price point being the game changer for a lot of e-bike companies out there that's going to have to chase this down. And the reason being is that the performance that people are going to get this, they will flood the market. Lectric has been known to be able to bring bikes into the market with such great quality at such low prices that it has actually even made the 20-inch fat tire market boom. And they have sold so many bikes out there that in the US alone, it's like half or some crazy amount of statistic that like one of every 5 e-bikes sold is electric. And of the 20-inch fat tire bikes, half of them are actually electric bikes. And it's like the stats are that what they're doing with the market is incredible. This 26-inch will take a big market share, definitely, from a lot of the fat tire bikes, because a lot of people don't necessarily want only a 20-inch bike. I've shown a lot of people when they've asked what bikes would I recommend personally if they're looking into getting into an e-bike, and you can't beat the affordability plus the quality that you get from something like an electric bike. So when I tell them about the 2.0 or the 3.0 or even the XP Lite, some of them will just look at it and say they don't want a 20-inch bike. They want one of these bigger bikes. And I was kind of shocked that they actually went into this market because it seemed like it was already pretty saturated. But what they did with this, with the performance that came out of this, I have ridden 26-inch fat tire bikes. In fact, I've had even a $3,000 or $2,500 24-inch fat tire bike. And this bike has performed as well. And one of the reasons I liked about this bike as well is that one thing I've always wished about a lot of the bigger bikes is that they were lighter. And this bike is only a little over 70 pounds for the size that you get and the performance that you get on this, plus with the technology now that they have with their cadence sensor that's built into this. It is just an amazingly well manufactured or well put together machine. When it comes out into the market, people are absolutely going to love it. I can already tell you that everybody who was out there with me test riding these for the announcement, we just couldn't believe it, how great this bike was put together and everything that came with it. Now, let me go over some of the specs that's on there. I'm actually going to be pulling it up here on my phone because of the amount of quality parts that are in this. I just need to make sure that I don't miss anything. So first of all, it's eMTB safety tested, and because of it's tested to all the standards. I guess there's some kind of standard to make sure that it's a safety standard to be called a mountain bike. And it has allowed it to be done, the fork especially, that is one of the main things that has allowed it to actually have that rating put on there. So it's supposed to be super ultra durable, and you don't have to worry about how safe it's going to be on there for you. The other thing is, of course, is the fork being as strong as it is, has been put through it has 80 millimeters of travel, which is a lot. Now, did hear some of the other guys mentioning that they were bottoming out with the shocks. It was too soft. I'm about 170 pounds, and I'm quite short as well, that I did not have any problems. In fact, it felt really smooth. It's one of the smoothest off-road bikes that I've ridden out there, that, and it doesn't even have rear suspension. There's a lot of times on rear suspension bikes that actually are full suspension, both front and back. I don't even feel the back. So that front was so soft for me, and it could be because I was a lighter. So that is something to keep in mind. The other thing is it comes with a 750 watt motor. It comes shipped out as a class 2 bike. Now that means that you're going to get speeds up to 20 miles an hour. You can override that to make it a 28 mile per hour class 3 bike. And that is something that is really impressive as well, because with 750 watts in the back, and you get up to 1300 watts peak power on the front end there with a 48 volt battery, and I believe it was a 22 amp controller. I'll verify that as we get a little lower on my screen here, but with the controller that comes all together, all combined, you get some crazy power with this. When I was going up to a lot of the parts that were steeper in the ride up there, I had it on pedal assist level 3, and all I did was hit the throttle so that it would give me a lot of extra assistance. And to be honest, a lot of times I didn't even have to pedal. It was so powerful on the way that I could just focus on controlling what I was going to be doing going up these the terrain that we were going up with the loose gravel, the rocks, everything that was in there. It was just a fantastic ride. The other thing about this is the battery is a 14 amp hour battery. Now, it is not a large battery per se, but the way that they have this cadence sensor tuned within the bike there, you do get more efficiency than ever before. Like in the past, I would say a 14 amp hour battery, it's adequate. This 14 amp hour battery now is more than adequate to get you a lot of the performance that you, in fact, I think they even claim up to 50 miles of range on this bike here. So there you go, 55 miles of range that you're going to be able to get on this bike. So that is one thing that's actually very impressive with the performance of this bike. Of course, when you're going to be going at 28 miles an hour and the speeds that they're going to be putting out there, you will get hydraulic brakes that comes with this with 180 millimeter rotors. And for those of you who don't know what that means, that these discs that are in the back are larger so that it doesn't have to rotate as much as far as the friction goes. The stopping power is fantastic. It is great and a lot of fun to go off-roading with this, and you don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to be able to stop when you need it to stop. There's a lot of stopping power on this. Now, there's the pedal assist that's on this is assisting you based on more amperage at each level. So what that means is if you're riding on pedal assist 1 and you're pedaling, you'll get 6 amps of extra power coming from the motor pushing you. Now, in the past, a lot of the older bikes at pedal assist 1, as soon as you started pedaling, it would boost you up to like that 7 to 9 mile an hour range automatically. It just jacked you up there, and then you're pushing at that. This here, all it does is it gives you an extra 6 amps. So you can go a lot faster. The harder you pedal, it automatically will just continuously give you the 6 amps of power. So you can go faster even on pedal assist 1 than you could before, getting still assistance. It works a lot more like a torque sensor. So here's another thing is this bike does not have a torque sensor, but it acts like one. And that's one thing that's really cool about another thing where people are saying, oh, a torque sensor is better, it feels like a more natural ride. They've been able to actually lock in a cadence sensor device that actually acts like a torque sensor, so you feel it that way. Now, when you go to pedal assist 2, you get another 4 amps of power put in there. You go all the way to pedal assist 5, and that's where you get 24 amps of power coming from the battery. Of course, the more amperage that you're going to be pulling from the battery, the less range you're going to get, but the more speed you'll have it. Likewise, I was actually riding at pretty much pedal assist 3 the whole time because we're on off-road. Now, if I had gone to the street, I love going 28 miles an hour. I definitely would have jacked it up all the way to pedal assist 5. And with the 11 tooth high-end gearing that's on here, and I think it's 46 tooth in the front as well, I would be able to push the bike up to the 28 miles an hour very easily. Probably I could pedal it on faster if I wanted to, just wouldn't have any more assistance after that. So this is the type of bike that I think anywhere, I mean, look at all of the accessories you get. One, for delivery people, they're going to want the power. You're going to get the size, the ability to go ahead and have a full throttle as well and get a lot of range on that. I would say for those that are going to be using this for basically like delivery, because of the weight of this bike being a lot lighter than some of the others that are out there, the competitors, you probably can just carry an extra battery and swap out and then get 100 miles of range in a day. And that would be quite a feat. But you'll be able to help it. And that's the thing is if you need more range, just put it on pedal assist 2 and pedal a little bit more and you'll be able to go ahead and get more range out of this. So that's one of the things that's really cool. This sensor that they put on there is on what's on the 3.0 and the Expedition. And those, for those people who have had those bikes, if you're familiar with that and you love the way that it feels, it's similar. The other thing that they've done with this motor though is they've actually made it way quieter. They did something within the motor itself because a lot of people said their Expeditions were really loud. They just actually took better technology and made it so that this motor is still just as powerful, just quieter. I actually have the Expedition. I didn't think it's really all that loud in the first place. I didn't hear anything from this one at all. You know, think about you are riding on a fat tire bike, the road noise from fat tires in general already has a good hum on it. So to me, it's kind of a moot point, but there are people who complain about it, and Lectric is known to listen to those complaints, and they do what they do, and they made things better on it. Okay, so you have the integrated battery. It is not a battery that is sticking out like those humpback type styles. It goes right into the frame. They're very nice on the way. It's very clean, sleek design. They also have the 11 to 28 tooth freewheel in the back, and this freewheel with 11 tooth, one of the smallest that they can put on the back there for the highest gear for you. That is a really good way to prevent you from having to air pedal because the bike is going too fast. This gives you the ability to go ahead and still continue to push the bike even more, which allows you more efficiency with the battery itself. We do come with a LCD display that's has the same look of the other displays as like the regular standard electric bikes. This is basic LCD, very clear, very clean, gives all the information that you really need. There's nothing that I would say is a complaint without it. Most of the time I'm not even looking at my screen whenever I'm moving around. Works really good. It also does come with an integrated brake light. So that's another thing I really liked about this bike. They could have cut corners on to bring down the price. Now there is one thing that is the more economic part, which is the tourney derailleur that's on the back end there. It is a 7-speed derailleur, and to me tourneys work fine. The only thing is, on a performance bike, sometimes I like to have paddle shifters, which this has actually a standard SIS index shifter, which it works great. It's the same shifter, same derailleur that's on their other XP bikes. There has never been a performance issue with it. It's just one of those things that, because this is such a high-end performance feeling bike, sometimes I would expect that those would be a higher end. The Altis for Shimano sometimes has a little smoother shifting, but really it works fine. There was no issues with it. Never had an issue with any of my other electrics with a tourney derailleur, and this one worked out fine. It also comes with the tire or the front rim not assembled with the bike because of shipping. Now, so you got to understand, this bike is 26-inch fat tires, so it makes the bike really, really long. So in order for them to go ahead and have it ship out at a reasonable cost without having to push it onto the consumer, this is the one bike that they do not have almost fully assembled like a lot of the other bikes. They decided to go ahead and have that front tire not added on, and they did a demonstration of how fast it is to really put on the front rim onto the fork once you get it. So it's not that big of a deal. I don't really think you need to take this to a bike shop. I mean, you know, to be honest, they do recommend sometimes that you even take the any of the other bikes to a bike shop to have it fully checked out before you do your full initial ride. That's always, you know, a good thing to have done. Check all the nuts and bolts just to make sure that you're going to have a safe ride that you're going to be going around on. So with that being said, this one, the through axle that they have to go ahead and assemble the front wheel is very, very quick. I would call it a 95% ready bike to be put together. Now, the accessories you're going to have to add on to yourself if you do get some of those. For the most part, when you first get your e-bike, though, I would say don't bother putting on the accessories. Once you get the tire, the front rim on there, and you check all your nuts and bolts to make sure everything's nice and set and it's in the way you go take it for a ride before you put any accessories, because the accessories do add weight. Without the accessories put on there, it's going to be a different feel that you're just going to really just love what you're going to get there. It comes standard with a kickstand like other bikes, and it has a saddle that saddle was actually comfortable. Well, nothing that I would have complained about. Depending on what kind of riding you want to do, you may want to go ahead and get the comfort package on that Lectric does offer. So that covers a lot of the main points I wanted to talk about this bike here. Again, this is a little different setup. Hopefully some of the footage that I'm actually adding in does help you get an idea about this bike. It is a fantastic bike, one of the best off-road bikes that I have had a chance to go ahead and test ride or review since I started doing reviews. I say it was comparable to my very expensive bike that cost more than twice this one for my off-road performance bike, and it even fit better. So with the step through that you have here, you can fit, I think, a rider as low as 5'2". I actually had some range to go on the seat. I think I'm at a 5'5". I had the seat put up at the height that I normally have it at. Had no problem riding. There was a few inches for me to give, so 5'2" sounds just about right. The step over the full-size bike, this one here actually is made for, I believe they said 5'7", but to be honest, at 5'5", I didn't have a problem. It's just the standover is a little tall, so that when you do come to a stop, it might be a little uncomfortable if you have a short inseam. And but for me, I mean, I lean a little if I have to. I don't mind. I can ride larger bikes very comfortably. I do like it. So depending on the style you like, the step through is as solid as any other bike that I've ever ridden that was a step-through style for off-road. I was very pleasantly surprised at how solid the bike felt, especially with the off-road terrain that we were taking out to go ahead and ride. So I would say that, you know, they've actually made the step-through low enough. It's a performance bike, okay? So just keep that in mind. It's not going to be super low like maybe the Trike or any of the XP 1, 2, or 3s. It has to have a little more of the sturdiness because of the size of the tire. It's already going to be elevated, but it is still very easily accessible. Personally, I would get the step through because of my height, and I'm convinced that it is solid enough. It is already fast enough. It's really good. This is a great alternative for commuting. I'm going to say, I mean, put those fenders on there and make sure that you don't get wet, and you know, you don't have to worry about it. With all the accessories that you're going to be getting with it as well, you can carry your lunchbox and your briefcase or whatever you need to get to work. And this is the bike that will actually do it well, and it's not going to break the bank. Okay, so I do anticipate that throughout 2024, we are going to see a huge boom again for e-bikes. And the main reason being is that there is a monstrous acceleration of car repossessions. And that's, like I said, I follow the economy pretty well, you know, looking into different areas of what is happening with the transportation industry, everything in general. Car prices are starting to come down, especially used cars prices, because there's so much repossessions out there that they are flooding the lots. So we're going to see a huge monstrous drop in car prices. But who knows about gas prices? With what's going on in the world today, there's a lot of turmoil, and it's affecting our gas prices. And we're going to have to, you know, just kind of keep in mind what's going to happen with that. The EV market is taking, the EV car market is taking a big hit right now. They are not selling nearly as much as they thought they would be selling. So that means that we are maybe heading into tough economic times, and Lectric is answering that with this bike. Plus, their Expedition, their 3.0, even their 2.0, the XP Lite, their lineup of models here is going to continue to fill a huge EV market need that's out there. If you need a bike right now that you've been waiting on and you did not like a 20-inch, you're looking at the 26-inch, I would highly recommend looking at this. You can actually use the link below. It is an affiliate link. It does support the channel. If you are interested in picking up one of these bikes, you can go to ebikeproducts.com/XPeak and use the link below in the description, or just type it in, ebikeproducts.com/XPeak. It'll take you directly to the XPeak sales page. It is a Black Friday sales. It's a pre-sale. Again, don't forget, they won't be shipping out till about mid-January. I know there's a lot of times people get very frustrated at the delays of how long it takes to get these bikes. This will be worth the wait as well. The dollars that you're saving ahead of time, everything that you're going to be getting for it, it was just a fantastic ride, and I just still cannot believe that the price that they're having on this. Thank you so much, Lectric, for allowing me to go ahead and do the review and test ride the bikes out there. You stay tuned. We also have a video of the Trike. My wife actually was able to come with me on our visit out to Lectric, where she got a chance to ride the Trike. She's not a strong rider, so she never went on any of these bikes. And the Trike was a perfect fit for her. It was something that she thought that would be a lot of fun, and we were able to take it out. I was able to do a review on that. So make sure you check out the video that I have on the Trike that's going to be coming out as well. But in the meantime, don't forget the Lectric lineup right now. They are having their Black Friday sales are starting already as of November 1st. A lot of e-bike companies are trying to break into the market, and they're going to be chasing down this price point for all of their bikes here. This is a performance bike that is one to be remembered. November 1st, 2023, Lectric is now changing the industry. Everybody's going to have to follow something like this. They've done a great job. Congratulations, Lectric. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.